Hey everybody, this is IndieGeek, and today I'm taking a look at Agarest Generations of War 0. So, I know that this game has been out on PS3, and I know the original has been out on Steam already, but this is for the Steam release of Generations of War 0, which is a prequel to the original Generations of War. I have no experience with any of these games until this one. It is developed by Idea Factory and published by Ghostlight, and there were a couple things that I wanted to go over first. First, I wanted to go to this DLC menu, because this could rub some people the wrong way. I think it's all just a holdover from the PS3 version, but they are bringing all of the DLC packs back, and you choose whether or not you want to purchase them. I have not purchased any. This is what I got from the pre-order, which I'm assuming is the version that I got with my press package. So, also the other thing I need to cover is I'm not going to be starting from the very beginning. I've spent about 2 hours, and I think a good maybe hour and 20 minutes of that has been story stuff, so I don't want to spend too much time on the story. So what I'm going to do is... oh, I accidentally clicked continue. That's not what I wanted to do. Let me see if I can quit to main menu here. I wanted to click load because I want to go back. I still want to do a section that I've done before, so that hopefully it's not anything bad. So yes, this is what I want. I'm playing on normal difficulty. I think there were 3 difficulties if I'm remembering right. Excuse me. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go over kind of the character screen, and one thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to equip some of the nice things that come with the pre-order pack. I know this isn't like the... this isn't maybe the best way to play through it, but it's made the battle stuff a lot easier, and personally I enjoy that. Maybe that's just me, but just know that if you pre-ordered or if you buy these packs, you will get items that are probably considered to be a little overpowered. But that's fine, whatever you want. That's the thing, it comes down to basically what you want to do. So as you saw there, pretty easy setup as far as equipping characters with stuff like that. I know the game, of course, was originally optimized for use with a gamepad, and I'm almost certain that you can still use a gamepad on this version, but I've been using mouse and keyboard. Okay, so now that we're in a battle, there are some things I want to talk about. I am playing on a laptop, but it's also a pretty beefy laptop, and I get slowdown in some really weird places. So, like, so far right here, it's gone fine, but, like, this section sometimes gets some slowdown, and anytime these words come up, there's really weird slowdown going on. And what's odd is that, like, the attack animations, so you saw it just, like, sped up there out of nowhere. The attack animations typically don't have any slowdown, which seemed weird to me, because this is the part that I would imagine to be kind of more intensive as far as like from a graphic perspective, but it's like sprites moving around that has issues. So like every time it goes into this movement section, I've experienced some slowdown. So just something to keep in mind. I don't know if this was a problem with the original Generations of War, but it's been a pretty consistent problem for me. That's the last I'm going to mention it, of course. I guess I should say it's a little unfortunate that there aren't like more options in the menu, so I can't like turn down, I don't know, like the grass or something to maybe make it better. There's no options like that, so I haven't really found a workaround. I guess there's just some slowdown. But that's fine, I'm not really too concerned about it. So, with that stuff out of the way, I will be going into now kind of the the actual like gameplay and what I think about it. I should mention, I don't know if I mentioned at the beginning, the game is going to cost $20. So, and of course, as always, feel free to follow the link in the description, which will link directly to the Steam page. So, what's going on here is that we've got a move phase and an action phase. So it kind of works like something along the lines of like Final Fantasy Tactics if you were to split up the move and the action, which at first seems a little weird, but it makes sense pretty fast. And so what's going to happen is that we're both going to move, like, so, and we're not always going to only have one party member, of course. So our party will move, and their party moves like immediately after ours. So here's my move. Maybe I'll move like here so that I can be right beside him. Not that it matters, because he'll turn towards me, most likely during his action, because I think he will get to attack first. So we'll see, yeah, so it doesn't matter that much in these smaller battles, but in bigger battles you can actually position yourself Final Fantasy Tactics style to actually attack people from the side or the back to do more damage, but it doesn't matter. So then after our move we've got however many AP we've got left. So in this case I've got 18, so maybe I will do like Sonic Wave. Oh, that was dumb, I can't do that. I should do double edge and like rapid move, and I'll use that. You get a certain amount of AP back after every turn, and also I believe if you press standby, whatever AP you've got gets doubled. So it's a good idea if you're in a decent position to not move and just stand by for your move phase, because then you'll have more AP during your attack phase. So that's that. I'm hoping I can maybe get to the first boss battle here. I should say now would be a good point to point out, I do enjoy the combat side of the game. The story, however, I am not a huge fan of, and it's not necessarily that the story's bad, it's just the same kind of typical RPG story, and I don't mean to, I don't mean to say that like it's a really bad thing, but the story of this does not really break any new ground. That's for certain. There's not anything radical being done with the story here. And I guess at some points that's a little upsetting, because it just all feels like something that I have played before. And, it feels like a story that I've seen before, and it's not a particularly exciting one. You've got kind of some of the typical stuff, like we're a young hero and we're going to save the world, and we meet a girl who's got amnesia and can't remember who she is, all that kind of stuff. And so the story parts I'm just not really going to have an opinion of, really. If you like RPG style storylines, then I guess you'll like this one. I don't in particular, but again, it's a story that's totally subjective. So you may like it, you may not. But the combat's really good. Going forward into the game, I don't know if the good combat is going to make up for the story, and I don't know if the good combat is going to make up for all the times that you have to go through story stuff. I mean, there is a skip function, so you can just skip past dialogue. I haven't yet, which is why I've played, I think, 4 battles total in 2 hours. So, just something to keep in mind if you are not looking for something full of story. This may not be the best purchase for you, because it is full of story. And then I think there's another part, and it's kind of like a romantic entanglement part of the game, and I'm not really super into that either, but like you can have conversations with the female characters in your party, and depending on how you respond to answers, they will like you more or less than they did before, and potentially, I'm assuming there are some kind of romance options down the line in the game, and again, kind of your mileage may vary on that. If you are into that kind of thing, it's there. If you're not, well, no need to worry about it, I guess. And as you saw there, you can attack more than one character in a turn if you've got enough AP. And this will actually be good because the next spot on the map is an event, which means there's going to be tons of dialogue, which I'm going to skip. I'm not going over the story in this look at. I just want to show off what it's like to see the story go by. Again, keeping in mind that I did go through this story. So I've got the skip button pressed here, and I'm just going to talk over this. This would be a good time, I guess, to talk about the art and the music. I think the art looks good. I don't know. I've always had some weird thoughts about this idea here, and what we've got here. This is actually a short story segment because we're just meeting the boss. After this is a very long story segment. But this will be nice because the boss will be a little more difficult than the enemy battles. But I've always had like some issues with using the sprite art on what looks like kind of a what they're going for is kind of a realistic background, and that feels a little weird, I guess. Okay, so this is interesting. I'm just going to skip by it. They actually play out the first half of this battle for you. And so what these lines are is, as your character, you have certain spots around you that are, I guess, kind of like PowerPoints. I don't remember exactly what they're called. But basically you want to try and get the other characters into your glowing squares, because then anytime that you attack, the other characters in those squares can also attack. So that's a pretty big deal. So what they're doing here is they're teaching you that by waiting and standing by, you can build up a bunch of AP, and that's basically the goal of what they're showing here. Alright, so now it finally lets you play. Yes. And we're going to do this. We can see this is where we've got SP in addition to AP now. And you can see, because we're all on the same points, I could do attacks with all of them. It doesn't actually let you because it wants you to just use this Howling Storm, which is fine. So we'll get over that, and then we'll finish up the boss battle here. But yeah, I mean, in general, I think the art looks good. I mean, even like here, you can see there's a little bit of, I don't know, it's just like a weird juxtaposition between our characters and the boss here, because the boss is not a sprite and we are, and that's, I guess, just a little strange to me. Maybe I'll just be like really cheeky here and I'll use a whole bunch of attacks, like way more than I would need, just because it'll be fun, right? So in this case, it's got kind of some drawbacks to like something like Disgaea, where you can actually overkill the enemy, and that's definitely what I'm going to be doing here. This will for sure overkill the enemy, but by overkilling enemies, you then get a chance to get an extra item, basically. So there's definitely a good reason to do it. I will say, as far as like the battle stuff goes, as nice as the attack animations look, I kind of wish that every attack wasn't like a special attack. No one has just like a regular, hey, just attack. Everyone's got like all these really crazy moves that then take a while to sit through and watch, which, again, kind of your mileage may vary. But when your character only has 4 moves, you kind of see them all pretty fast. So And of course your character will get more moves later, but at the beginning here you don't really have more moves, so you're kind of seeing the same animations over and over, and it can get a little old pretty fast. I kind of wish there was either a way to just skip the animations, and if there is, I'm not sure what it is. So there's that, but so that's a level up screen. I didn't really pay too much attention to how I was leveling up for this because I'm farther than this in my actual save. So I do want to get to a story segment here. I won't continue through the whole story segment, but I want to at least play a little bit of a story segment if possible. I might not be able to before I should end the video. We'll see. No, because I think this is going to be a battle. Yeah, this will be a battle. That's fine though. I will say about the story, like I said, it kind of drags on, and it's not a super great story in my opinion. There's no English voice acting, so I know that's going to be something that also may bother some people. Personally, it doesn't bother me, but I know some people may want English voice acting. It's Japanese voice acting and English subtitles. Let's see, what have I not talked about? The music is pretty good. Again, you know, it's pretty typical kind of JRPG music. Nothing that's really like stood out for me. You know, it's not gonna be like a Final Fantasy soundtrack where it kind of sticks in my head for years and years. You know, I guess overall I should say like it's pretty good. On the one hand, you know, it's not the best JRPG, and I probably won't take all the time it takes to finish it, but I will play it occasionally. And on the other hand, I'm really glad to see this come to Steam, because I want to see more JRPGs on Steam, and I want to see more developers of JRPGs see reason to bring their games to PC, because I don't always want to sit down at a console for 60 hours and play my JRPG. I want to see more of them developed for PC as well as consoles. So that's kind of where I'm at with this one. It's, as far as JRPGs go, it's pretty good. It's, you know, it's not the best, and that's, I think, maybe an issue with the genre, is that it's really hard to stand out if you're not the best. But also, as far as Steam goes, there aren't a lot of options. So if you are, you know, if you're looking for a JRPG to play on your computer, this is one of your very limited options. And honestly, it's not bad. It's pretty good. You know, I've had a decent time with it. I definitely enjoy the battles more than the story, and I think that is something that you have to keep in mind, is that there's a lot of story, and it's not really a split 50-50 between those two segments. So you know, that's where I'm going to end this one. I think that gives you a pretty good idea of my thoughts. Not blown away, but I'm not disappointed either, by no means. So that is, yeah, that's where I will leave this one off. So as always, feel free to comment if there's anything that you'd like to comment on. Subscribe to the channel to see more of my videos every single day, and if you liked my look at Agarest Generations of War 0, then please do consider clicking the like button, because that helps me out a lot, and I definitely appreciate everything you do to help. So with all of that being said, I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.